Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So, today, we're going to talk about something I think a lot of us are feeling, that weird growing gap between what our job title says we are and what we actually spend our days doing.
Yeah, seriously. Take a second and think about it. Does your business card actually describe your job? If you're kind of scratching your head, believe me, you are not alone. It feels like the whole idea of a career ladder is outdated, right? It's less of a straight climb and way more like a chaotic, tangled jungle gym these days.
So, what's causing all this confusion? Well, it kicks off with this thing that's been quietly messing with our careers for a while now. It's called Title-Flation.
Yep, Title-Flation. Basically, it's when companies want to keep talented people around, but maybe don't want to bump up their salary. So what do? They hand out these prestige rewards. You get a fancy new title, but the pay, or the actual authority that should come with it, not so much.
So we've moved away from really tangible rewards like a good old-fashioned raise to something way more symbolic. I mean, it's a nice little ego boost for a minute, but what it really does is water down what these titles mean for everyone. Just think about it for a sec. If you have a tiny startup with 10 people and 4 of them are vice presidents, what on earth does VP even mean at that point?
Okay, but it's not just about titleflation. There's a much bigger shift happening here. The way we work, the very nature of our jobs, has totally changed.
We've basically entered the era of role blurring. One single job title is now expected to cover this massive, sometimes completely unrelated collection of skills. You know those nice, clean lines that used to define what a job was? Yeah, those are pretty much fading away.
I mean, look at this example, the modern marketing manager. In the past, each of these, data analyst, graphic designer, copywriter, these could have easily been 5 different full-time jobs. But today, one person, the marketing manager, is somehow supposed to be an expert in all of it. The title just becomes this generic bucket that doesn't even begin to describe the real skills you need to do the job.
And then you've got what I like to call the startup effect. In these super fast-moving, agile companies, what you can do is so much more important than your official rank on some org chart, right? I mean, if a critical server goes down and the only person who knows how to fix it has assistant in their title, that whole formal hierarchy just poof. It disappears. It's all about pure skill and contribution.
And of course, remote work has put this whole shift on hyperdrive. Just think about it. Before, your status was all tied up in physical stuff, wasn't it? The corner office, what floor you were on, that prime parking spot. But now, we're all just boxes on a Zoom screen. It's a great equalizer.
And that really does level the playing field. When you strip away all those physical status symbols, what are you left with? You're judged by what you actually contribute. Your ideas, the quality of your work, whether you deliver on projects, your output. That's your new business card.
All right, so we get why this is all happening, but let's get practical. What does this actually mean for your career? And maybe more importantly, how is the world of hiring, recruiters and companies, changing to deal with this new reality?
Well, on a really personal level, it can lead to something called title dysphoria. It's that awful, stressful feeling you get when your business card says senior director, but you have the actual influence and paycheck of a junior team member. When your title starts causing you stress instead of pride, that's a huge red flag that the system is broken.
And this brings up a super important question, especially for anyone thinking about their next career move. If job titles are becoming so, unreliable, how do the people guarding the gates, the recruiters and their fancy AI tools, how do they make sense of any of it?
The answer in a nutshell is applicant tracking systems, or ATS. These things are smart. They're programmed to completely ignore all the creative, fluffy titles. Instead, they just scan for keywords, the hard skills. So, let's say your title is Ninja Evangelist, right? But your resume is packed with words like Python, SQL, and project management. Well, the AI doesn't care about the ninja part. It sees those keywords and says, aha, this is a data engineer. It's looking for substance over style every single time.
And this really brings us to the most important takeaway here. Titles, they come and go. They lose their meaning. But the one thing that actually holds its value, the real currency in the job market today, is your skill stack. The collection of things you can actually do.
Okay, so how are we supposed to navigate this new world? Let's talk about a new way of thinking, a mindset that can take us way beyond the limits of a simple business card.
There's actually this really cool ancient concept from Vedic philosophy called Nama Rupa. It perfectly nails this idea. It basically translates to name and form, and it teaches that we humans have this tendency to get way too focused on the label, the name, and we totally lose sight of the actual substance, the form.
So if we apply that to our careers, it's pretty clear, right? The job title, that's just the name. It's the external label. But the form, that's the real stuff. That's the problems you solve, the value you create, the actual impact you make day in and day out.
So the real solution here is to adopt a completely new mindset, and that is to become title agnostic.
And how do you actually do that? How do you become title agnostic? Well, first, you got to focus on your tangible impact. Don't just list your duties. Talk about what you actually changed or improved. Second, you build a reputation, not for your title, but for being a problem solver. And third, and this is the big one, you have to continuously grow that skill stack we keep talking about. That is your real foundation.
At the end of the day, it really all boils down to one simple, clarifying question for you. As you move forward in your career, what's going to be your guide? What's your true north? Is it going to be that ever-changing and, let's be honest, often meaningless title on your resume? Or is it going to be the lasting, undeniable impact that you choose to create? I think the answer to that question will really define your entire professional journey.